It's Christmas and it's books. What more could I possibly ask for? Hope at Christmas is a Hallmark film directed in 2018. It's directed by Alex Wright and written by Robert Tate Miller. And this is not the most perfect film I've ever seen. It was pretty cliche, and I have to say I didn't really take to the protagonist that much. Sydney, who is played by Scottie Thompson, is a divorced mother raising a single 8-year-old daughter. A pretty traditional Hallmark story. And there's nothing wrong with Scottie Thompson's acting. I think Sydney was a very well acted character. I just don't think she was very well written. There were parts of her that I didn't really gel with. And it's one of those things that I find it hard to kind of pinpoint because there's nothing specific about her. I just feel like she was a very bland character. Her attitude a lot of the time was not very good. Some of her actions weren't really believable. She wasn't really making the effort to do anything Christmassy for her daughter until her daughter really pushed her and persuaded her. And even though her daughter was going away on Christmas Eve to be with her father, she should still make the effort. Also, why was her daughter not in school when school was still on? That's another thing that confused me. But that's a minor complaint. And I'll read the description from IMDb and then I'll talk a little bit about that. There were a few characters I particularly liked, and quite a few of my favourite aspects about Christmas films were in this. So the description is as follows. Divorced Sydney inherits a house from her grandma. Seeing it with her 8-year-old daughter, she stops at the bookstore and meets a single teacher there. She ends up helping out there for the Christmas season. So our single teacher is Mac, played by RayAnne Paevey. He is the love interest, and I like him. He's nothing overly special, but as an elementary school teacher, I believe it was elementary school, I like him. I like the character, I like his profession, I like his attitude towards books, I like the way he tries to help Sydney, and I like the way he tries to help a lot of children. I think he was a very nice character, and maybe one of my favourite Hallmark love interests. I did very much enjoy his performance. Erica Tremblay plays RayAnne, who is Sydney's daughter, and she's great. Not only is this character very well acted, I think she's very well written. As I said, she does push her mother quite a lot to do Christmas things, and that's really bad. To watch it is really uncomfortable because no child should have to encourage a parent to get into the Christmas spirit, unless the parent is, severely depressed or, has a very specific reason. But her mother isn't depressed, she's just a bit down because she doesn't know what direction her life is going in. She makes no effort for her daughter at all, and I think that's very much one of the reasons why I just did not like Sydney. But RayAnne is a lovely child. I also really loved Bee. Bee owns the book Bee, which she's played by Colleen Winton, and the fact that this is set primarily in a bookshop just makes me ridiculously excited. The bookshop does actually play an important role in the narrative. It's not just a random location. And I think it's really sweet and really promotes the joy of reading, especially for younger children. And while it's not all about books and literature, and none of the characters are writers as well, which is unexpected, I think it's lovely. I think it's a really lovely narrative. The bookshop is a fantastic setting, and it's one that I thoroughly enjoyed. It's very Christmassy. We get Christmas decorations and Santa Claus and gift buying. It's a very Christmassy film. The soundtrack's quite nice and Christmassy. So I did enjoy it. I did like it. I wish we'd seen more of her grandmother's house. I know it wasn't really the main point of the narrative, but because that's what brought them there, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the home because it was a beautiful house from what we could see. So I guess the only problem I have with this is Sydney as a character. Yes, it's cliche, but I've come to expect that from Hallmark films, and I won't say I like the fact that it's cliche, but there's a certain comfort to it in knowing where this magical Christmas film is heading. You don't have to be kind of too tentative about anything. So I kind of like that aspect, to be perfectly honest, which is not something I ever thought I would ever thought I'd admit. It's a good film. It's a nice film. It's not my favourite Hallmark Christmas film, but I did think it was very nice and I would definitely recommend it. If you haven't watched it and you're looking for a good Christmas film, I'd say this one's a safe bet.